Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. It's Friday, July 25th. An audit of Nueces County's auditor has revealed concerning findings of poor documentation and noncompliance with policies and procedures. The Nueces County Commissioner's Court heard a preliminary report on forensic audits of the county auditor's office and a health insurance fund this past Wednesday. One finding was that commissioners weren't informed of millions of dollars in transfers and loans to the county's health insurance fund. The audit examined 5 years from fiscal years 2020 through 24. The current Nueces County Auditor, Grayson Meyer, was not in the position at the time. Final reports from the audit will be presented at the next Commissioner's Court meeting, including detailed findings and recommendations. The city of South Padre Island will be hosting an open house this afternoon to collect feedback on the Convention Center expansion project. Today from 4 to 6 p.m., the open house will provide an overview of the expansion plans, renderings, and proposed features at the Convention Center located at 7355 Padre Boulevard. Staff, city officials, and project representatives will be present to answer questions. The project's benefits to the community and local economy will also be discussed. The city says the expansion will renovate the space and increase capacity, making South Padre Island a leading destination for events such as conventions or conferences. Crews in Agua Dulce are working on the future site of the new City Hall at the intersection of 5th Street and Farm to Market Road 70. The city currently has a small office within the county building off of Highway 44 in the center of town for the city secretary and for meetings with the mayor and city council. Mayor John Howard said council must meet in the Justice of the Peace courtroom, and when he has a meeting, he must either use a county office that isn't occupied or conduct the meeting in the lobby. The new building will not cost taxpayers anything, as the Wyatt Ranch Foundation approved the $500,000 building. The first ever city hall is expected to be completed in about 6 months. Tejano superstar Bobby Pulido is forming an exploratory committee for a congressional bid in South Texas as he considers challenging Representative Monica de la Cruz. 30 years after the release of his debut album, the Democrat and Edinburgh native plans to both retire from music and make a decision about pivoting to politics by the end of the year. Under the current map, de la Cruz is the only Texas Republican that Democrats are targeting next year, but the district boundaries could change in the coming weeks as Texas legislature pursues a new round of redistricting in the overtime special session that began Monday. If Pulido runs, he'll contend with a significant rightward shift among Latino voters in South Texas. He would also face a competitive primary. Ada Cuellar, an emergency physician in Harlingen, has already launched a bid. And state representatives will convene at the University of Houston tomorrow to hear public comments on plans to redraw congressional maps. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider reports the redistricting hearing is expected to be heated in the wake of what critics have called a partisan power grab by the Republican-led legislature.
Saturday's hearing will focus on 10 congressional districts that sit wholly or partly in Greater Houston. University of Houston political scientist Brandon Rottinghouse says the hearing will be the best chance residents have to make their voices heard as redistricting moves ahead.
There are a lot of people who look at what Republicans are doing and say that they're essentially letting the lawmakers pick their voters instead of having the voters pick their lawmakers. That's going to raise a lot of ire, and so this will be a very contentious hearing.
The hearing will take place at the UH Student Center starting at 11 a.m. There will be a maximum of 5 hours for public testimony, with speakers limited to 2 minutes apiece. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
34th Congressional District Congressman Vicente Gonzalez announced that he led members of the Texas Democratic Congressional Delegation in sending a letter to the Texas House Redistricting Committee Chairman and Texas Senate Committee on Congressional Redistricting Chairman, urging them to hold a field hearing in the Rio Grande Valley. The full letter can be read at gonzalez.house.gov. Former Progreso Mayor Jerry Alanis, who confessed to financially investing in cocaine shipments, was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison yesterday. Alanis, who served on the Progreso City Council from 2014 to 2024, appeared before a judge in Brownsville yesterday morning. He participated in a conspiracy to ship large amounts of cocaine from Progreso to Houston. Other people who participated in the conspiracy included his brother, former Progreso School Board President Frank Alanis, and former Progreso Mayor Arturo Alamon. Informants said they stored and packed cocaine at Dorothy Thompson Middle School in Progreso, where Jerry worked. A former employee for the town of Bayside faces a felony charge of theft by public service between $30,000 and $150,000. According to the Refugio County Sheriff's Office, Misty Minshew, after being taken into custody, was released from the Refugio County Jail on July 18th after posting $100,000 bail. She was booked on July 17th. The Texas Rangers and the Refugio County Sheriff's Office are currently investigating. After a fire destroyed Johnny's True Value in Harlingen this past Tuesday, fire investigators have yet to announce its cause. The building was still producing too much smoke, making it difficult to access the building. City fire officials and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives said they would begin their investigation as soon as it was safe to do so. Officials report Tyler Avenue is open again. 8th Street to I Street on Harrison Avenue is still closed. As of yesterday morning, the investigation was underway. Attorneys for Texas death row inmate Robert Robertson are filing appeals and trying to prevent the East Texas man from being executed. Texas Public Radio's David Martin Davies reports Robertson has been scheduled for October 16th to receive the lethal injection.
Gretchen Swin, Robertson's lead attorney, argues that it's improper to issue a death warrant for her client because his case is now being considered by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals.
So there is no legal or moral reason to set an execution date when the highest court in the state is considering this appeal.
The Court of Criminal Appeals is looking over the evidence that Swin says shows that Robertson is actually innocent and didn't kill his daughter Nikki by violently shaking her. She says multiple medical experts have determined that Nikki died from an illness. Swin says the Texas Attorney General's office has taken over the case, and the drive to execute Robertson has become politicized despite evidence of his innocence. I'm David Martin Davies in San Antonio.
This past Tuesday, the Goliad City Council reviewed major components of its proposed 2025-26 budget, including significant capital projects and adjustments to key line items, while also improving 2 grant applications aimed at easing the financial load. Council discussed funding allocations for a splash pad, fitness pad, new city signage, and the city's annual $300,000 commitment to the Volunteer Fire Department's Certificate of Obligation. Another major budget item includes approximately $60,000 earmarked for a long-awaited marquee sign project. The council also addressed rising costs for professional services, largely driven by increased grant-related audit work and the absence of a finance officer earlier this year. Next meeting will be Monday, when it will vote on budgets for the Goliad Economic Development Corporation, Main Street Goliad, and Goliad Auditorium funds. No action was taken following the closed-door executive session during the meeting. The County of Goliad has posted on top of its website that it has stopped live streaming Commissioners Court and other meetings on its Facebook page. A notification atop the website's homepage read, as of July 15th, Goliad County will no longer be live streaming Commissioners Court. Goliad County Judge Mike Bennett did not return attempts by the advance guard to contact him for an explanation. The next meeting of the Goliad County Commissioners Court is scheduled for Monday at 5 p.m. Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation has installed 9 new playground units to strengthen the community and improve parks citywide. The new playgrounds, funded through the Park Development Fund and General Fund, meet improved standards and offer more play features for children to be physically active. Most of the new units include a large shade structure designed to provide relief from the intense sun and heat and increase playtime for children. Some of the 9 playground park projects completed between last October and last month include Airline Park Playground at 2601 Airline Road, Hans and Pat Suter Wildlife Refuge Playground at 909 Ennis Jocelyn Road, and Lamar Park Playground at 4231 Santa Fe Street. Additionally, 6 other major projects are currently under construction and scheduled for completion by this fall. Those include the Cole Park Plaza Shade, HEB Park and Tennis Center parking lot, and the People's Boardwalk, as well as replacing several piers in the marina. More than 4,000 Ingleside residents were briefly without power yesterday morning. AEP had power restored after noon yesterday. It does not report what caused the outage. Edna ISD is inviting parents and guardians to attend a virtual focus group for families of emergent bilingual students. The event, hosted by Sped Text and the Partners Resource Network, is scheduled for Tuesday from 12:15 to 12:45 p.m. The webinar will provide information on how families can access special education services. It will be offered in both English and Spanish. Registration is also available online in both languages. More information at ednaisd.org. The deadly 4th of July floods in the Texas Hill Country took lives, destroyed homes, and, for at least one winemaker, wiped out nearly an entire year's harvest. The Texas Newsroom's Lucio Vasquez spoke to the owner of Kerrville Hills Winery, which was nearly washed away by the Guadalupe River earlier this month.
Early estimates show the Texas Hill Country could lose up to $22 billion after the flooding. The region draws thousands of tourists each year, and its wineries are a big part of that. Most vineyards escaped major damage, but Kerrville Hills Winery was right in the flood's path.
Complete and utter breakdown, man. The gravity of the devastation out here still hits me.
John Rivenberg owns the winery. He says most of his vineyard is gone, a loss that'll cost more than $1 million this year alone.
This is the hardest thing I have ever navigated in my entire life.
Rivenberg says it'll take at least 5 years to rebuild. He's now salvaging what he can and leaning on help from neighbors and volunteers. I'm Lucio Vasquez in Houston.
And in weather, a broad low-pressure system in the north central Gulf has a 10% chance of development as it moves west over the northern Gulf through the weekend. Regardless of tropical development, rain chances will be increasing along the Texas coast. So be sure to take an umbrella with you as you go throughout your weekend. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. If you missed any of today's stories, you can replay this and previous episodes of South Texas Midday wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.